I was arrested. Story time. When I was a teenager, me and my friends used to hang out in abandoned buildings. Why? I don't know. Don't ask me. We would just break inside of them, listen to music, watch movies, cast spells, normal teenage stuff. So one day while we were in one, I guess we were being too loud because someone called the cops on us. And we had no idea until the cops got there and busted down the door. And when we heard them come in, we booked it. So me and my friends run through the back door, run across the yard, but then there's this huge fence. So we start climbing the fence and I can hear the police behind us. And I'm getting nervous at this point because I don't want to get in trouble. So eventually all my friends get over the fence and I'm the last one to get over, right? Well, as I'm putting my legs over, I slip and fall. But I don't hit the ground, no. The back of my underwear get caught in the fence and I'm sitting there hanging. Basically, the fence was giving me an atomic wedgie. And all my friends just left me. And the cops came up to me and started laughing.
Story time about the time I beat up my sister's bully. So my little sister had autism and she would always get made fun of for it. So one day when she came home from school she was crying so hard and her hair was covered in Elmer's glue. So I asked her what happened and she told me that some kids at her school was bullying her because she had autism and they made fun of her and poured glue on her hair. And when I heard the story I was furious. Nobody should make fun of my sister except for me. So the next day I came to the school and told the principal what happened. And guess what? The principal didn't care at all. He told me, "This is not your school, leave." And that's what I did. So later on that day my sister came back from school and she was crying again. So I was like, what happened? And she told me that those same kids bullied her again. So I was upset and I asked her what was the kids' names and how did they look. And she told me that it was only one girl that bullied her and her name was Abigail and she had blonde hair and hazel eyes. She was also tall and had pale skin. So the next day I went to school with my sister. So as we are walking down the halls trying to find that roach named Abigail, I see the girl trip my sister on purpose. And guess who it was? Abigail. So as soon as I saw Abigail I dragged her by the hair and started punching and slapping her. She was trying to kick me but that didn't work. I smashed her head against one of the lockers and she started bleeding. Like for part 2. Okay, this is part 2. Abigail started screaming and crying and that's when the teachers separated us. I didn't get in trouble because I went to a different school but Abigail on the other hand got expelled. And after that day, no one bullied my sister ever again.
A girl made fun of this fat kid every single day until one day he got the ultimate revenge. Tanner Jensen was a 17-year-old kid who attended South Forsyth High School. Every single day, people would make fun of his weight and call him mean things such as piggy. This bullying devastated Tanner and led him to eating more food. And the worst part is his diet consisted of things such as pizza and burgers. And just when things were getting pushed to the last straw, something amazing happened to Tanner. A cheerleader named Amanda had asked him out to prom. Of course, Tanner had said yes. Later that day, he went to the store and bought himself a tuxedo. During the day of prom, he had even rented a limo, but after ringing Amanda's doorbell, she took a quick look at him and slammed the door in his face, saying that he was too fat. Tanner was absolutely devastated and livid, but he vowed to get the ultimate revenge. Like and follow for part 2. A girl made fun of this fat kid every single day until one day he got the ultimate revenge, part 2. After Amanda had slammed the door in Tanner's face, he was absolutely devastated, and he vowed to get the ultimate revenge. After about 10 years, Tanner had gotten a mail about a high school reunion, so he decided to show up. Everyone had seemed to know each other, but no one could quite recognize Tanner, especially not Amanda. This was Tanner 10 years later, after realizing Amanda had tried to shoot her shot, but like a beast, Tanner had rejected. If you want to transform your body like Tanner did, be sure to download the app called Fitness Coach. Link in bio.
I made him bite his tongue in half. Story time. When I was in high school, I had this friend on the wrestling team, and every time he learned a new move, he would have to test it out on me. So one day he came over to my house and we were just kind of hanging out, but all he wanted to do was practice wrestling. And that particular day, I was just not in the mood. My stomach hurt, I had a headache, I couldn't. But I kept telling him no and that I didn't feel good, but he did not care. So he waited until my back was turned to him and then he grabbed me from behind and tried to body slam me on the floor. So when he was doing this, my initial reaction was to do one of these and headbutt him. So I did. I headbutted him. And I feel the back of my head go into his chin. He lets me go and I turn around to look at him. Ugh. His mouth was covered in blood, like just pouring out. And I was like, "Are you okay?" And he was like, I bit my tongue. So I go over to look at it and his tongue was split in half. It was practically hanging.
This is a story about how my fake friend shaved off all of my hair. So I was in middle school and I was quite popular and all the girls liked me. I had really nice blonde hair and everyone loved it. I also had friends that I hanged out with almost every day. Their names were Drake, Tony, and Anthony. They were all pretty good friends except for Tony. He would constantly make fun of my appearance and would take all of my spotlight. He also hated when I got attention from people. He was also popular in my school and all of the teachers liked him even though he was quite a troublemaker. He had light brown eyes and dark brown hair. All the girls thought he was handsome but to be honest he looked basic. So one day as I was talking to Drake and Anthony, Tony butts in unexpectedly and says to me, "James, you should really take proper care of yourself. I could smell your filthiness from a mile away." They all laughed. I didn't even smell bad. I put cologne on this morning, so what was he even talking about? It's like he always tried to compete with me and make me look bad in front of everyone. But I just brushed it off. So later on that day Tony asked me if we could have a sleepover at his house and I agreed. He said that the other boys will be there as well. Come back for part 2.